Would you live to 100 if nothing stood in your way? Not your genetics, not your grief, not your age or your regrets or the years that disappeared while you were busy holding everyone else together. Why is it that so many older women, strong, wise, resilient, never make it to 100? Science has answers, but so does life. Because the reasons aren't just in your body. They're in your silence. They're in the dreams you buried to be who the world told you to be. They're in the habits you didn't choose, but learned to live with. You deserve to know the truth. And in this conversation, you will. Because it's not too late to live longer. It's not too late to live better. And it's not too late to begin again. You're about to discover the surprising scientific reasons why many women never reach 100, and the untold truths about how they can. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, maybe this is just how it is now? You wake up, go through the motions, maybe take your pills, maybe call someone or no one. And life just hums along. Quietly. Predictably. Sometimes a little too quietly. But pause for a second. Have you ever asked why some women never make it to 100, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, fully? Let's be honest with each other. It's not just about the body giving up. Sometimes it's the world giving up on us first. We live in a world that barely sees women after 60. We go from being needed to being invisible. And even if no one says it out loud, the message is clear. You're past your prime. Have you felt that? That slow erasure. The way your opinion isn't asked for anymore. The way commercials and magazines stop speaking to you. Like you vanished into some gray fog of used to be. And then, slowly, you start believing it. I'm too old to change now. Who would care if I started something new? This is just how life is at this age. That right there is one of the things holding us back. Not our years, but the beliefs we've absorbed along the way. And then there's grief. Not just the kind that comes with funerals. I'm talking about the quiet kind. The loss of identity after retirement. The empty chair at the dinner table. The name you still whisper when no one's around. Grief you didn't have time to process because life kept moving. Harvard studies have shown that unprocessed grief doesn't just weigh on your heart. It weakens your body. It lowers your immunity. It keeps you stuck. Have you allowed yourself to feel it, or did you just survive it? Now here's a harder one. When was the last time you put yourself first? I don't mean 5 minutes of reading before bed. I mean really asked, what do I want? What does joy look like for me now? If you spent your life giving, raising children, caring for a partner, managing households, it can feel selfish to turn inward. But hear me clearly, you matter now. Not just when someone else needs you. Not just as a mother or a wife or a caregiver. As you. And let's talk about how still we've all become. Sitting more than moving. Planning more than doing. Thinking more than feeling. Sitting, they say now, is the new smoking. And that's not just a catchy line, it's science. Our brains and bodies begin to shut down when we stop challenging them. But challenge doesn't have to be loud. It can be gentle. A stretch in the morning. A walk in the sun. A dance in your living room. And maybe the most silent weight of all? Fear. Fear of looking silly. Fear of failing. Fear of starting over. And what people might say if you do. But let me ask you something. Who are these people you're afraid of? And have they ever lived your life? So, be honest with yourself. Which of these feels like it's been following you? Is it the belief that you're too old to begin again? Is it the pain you never gave yourself permission to feel? Is it the quiet loss of your own voice? Take a breath. Sit with it. You don't need to rush your answer. But know this, naming it is the first step to releasing it. Would you believe that what keeps you alive longer isn't always what doctors put in a bottle? It's not just about green smoothies or blood pressure meds. It's something far deeper, far more human, and it starts with a simple question. Why are you still here? Not in a sad way, in a sacred way. What gives your life meaning right now? In Japan, they call it ikigai, your reason for getting up in the morning. And according to Harvard's longevity research, it's one of the most powerful predictors of a longer, healthier life. Let me tell you about Ruth. She was 78 when she started hosting tea circles in her small community center. Just tea and conversation. Nothing fancy. Now, over 30 women show up every month. Some of them say it's the only time they feel seen. Ruth didn't set out to change lives. She just wanted to stop eating lunch alone. And yet, her simple act of purpose added meaning to dozens of lives, including her own. Those with a reason to live can bear almost anyhow. That's Viktor Frankl, a man who survived unthinkable loss and still found meaning. Now I ask you, what's your why? Maybe it's still waiting to be rediscovered. Let's move gently now into another quiet truth. Connection. Loneliness is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's not a headline, that's a documented fact. In the places called blue zones, where people live the longest, friendship is stronger than medication. They eat together, walk together, mourn together, celebrate together. So let me ask you this, gently. Who are you still truly connected to? Not the ones who check in every holiday. I mean the ones who see you. And if the answer feels heavy, that's okay. It's not too late to build a new circle. Now what about your body? Not exercise, but movement. Dancing in the kitchen, pulling weeds from a garden, joining a walking club even if your pace is slower now. I once met an 82-year-old woman named Teresa who teaches yoga at the local church hall. She's got arthritis in her knees, but her smile lights up the whole room. Her secret? She never stopped moving. Not because she had to, but because it reminded her she was still alive. Even your brain, yes, even at 90, can grow. Science calls it neuroplasticity. When you learn a new hobby, painting, knitting, even learning a new recipe, your brain starts building fresh pathways. It's like giving your mind a new pair of shoes and telling it, "We're not done walking yet. Have you tried something new lately? Not for anyone else. Just for you?" And finally, let's talk about what you carry inside. Your emotional health, the quiet stress, the tension in your shoulders that's been there for 30 years. When your body is constantly managing stress, releasing cortisol, holding on to pain, it starts to shut down systems meant to protect you. But here's the good news, you can interrupt that. With breath, with silence, with forgiveness, and yes, even with laughter. Letting go of old resentment doesn't free them. It frees you. And those extra years you want to live? They aren't found in pushing harder, they're found in softening. So take a moment. Which of these speaks to your soul? Is it purpose? Connection? Movement? A fresh mental spark? Or the need to just let something go? You already have the keys to a longer, fuller life. The question is, which one will you turn first? She was 68 when she sat in front of a computer and typed, "How do you start a blog?" Her name is Ruth, a retired teacher, a widow, someone who used to write lesson plans, not life stories. But one quiet morning, in her small apartment filled with books and old photos, she decided to learn how to code. Not because someone asked her to, but because her thoughts had value and she wanted to share them. Yeah? Ruth writes weekly posts about aging, poetry, grief, and joy. And people read them. Thousands do. Not because she's famous, but because her words feel like a warm hand on a tired shoulder. She didn't need permission. She just needed a starting point. Then there's Angela. She spent 20 years alone after losing the love of her life. She had convinced herself that romance was for the young, that maybe what she had was enough. Until she met someone at a library lecture on classical music. He made her laugh. Not nervously, but freely. They started taking walks, sharing soup recipes, listening to records. She didn't feel like a teenager again. She felt like herself again. Alive, present, desired. She told her niece once, "I didn't fall in love again because I needed someone. I fell in love because I finally felt safe enough to be seen." And Maya turned 70 and gave herself a gift. 3 paintbrushes and a second-hand easel. No training, no grand plan, just a hunger to make color out of the quiet. She painted every morning for a year. Landscapes, faces, silence turned into shape. Eventually, someone saw her work and asked to hang it in a local gallery. When the opening night came, Maya stood in a blue dress in front of her canvases, holding a glass of wine she didn't finish. She didn't need praise. She just needed to know she could create something beautiful and still be surprised by herself. What do they all share? Not luck, not magic, not perfect timing. Just one thing: courage. The kind that whispers, "Why not?" The kind that nudges you at 2 a.m. and says, "It's not over." The kind that might already be living quietly inside you, waiting for you to say yes. So tell me, what's your story still waiting to become? What if aging isn't a slow fade, but a powerful return? They told us getting older meant becoming less visible, less vibrant, less needed. But what if they were wrong? What if aging isn't about decline, but evolution? Not the closing of a chapter, but the turning of a page. Say it with me, even just in your heart. I'm not winding down. I'm just beginning again. Let that truth settle in your bones. Because the truth is, transformation doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it begins with a micro move, a single breath of change. You don't need a 10-year plan. You need one small, brave step. Maybe it's 5 minutes of journaling in the morning. Maybe it's walking barefoot in the grass just to remember what it feels like. Maybe it's reaching out to that friend you haven't spoken to in years, the one who still lives in the corners of your laughter. Or maybe it's finally writing down the dream you've carried silently for decades. The bakery, the book, the road trip, the choir, the dance class, the second love. It doesn't matter if no one else understands it. It only matters that you do. Because here's the secret: power doesn't return all at once. It comes back in pieces with every decision you make that whispers, "I still matter." So pause with me here. Let yourself feel what's rising. Not regret, but readiness. You've lived through storms, built homes out of heartbreak, carried generations on your back. You were not starting over. You were starting from experience. Now, tell me in the comments, truly, what's one dream you've been keeping quietly in your heart? Someone else might need the courage in your words to unlock their own. This week, try one thing you've always wanted to do and tell us about it in the comments. Not for validation, but because your courage might spark someone else's. Don't forget to subscribe